My name is Maddie Morris, and I'm going to talk about Vincent van Gogh and the Starry Night. So this is a self-portrait that Vincent painted of himself. He was born on March 30th in 1853 in the Netherlands. He committed suicide at age 37 in 1890. He was a self-taught artist, and he completed over 2,000 works of art. So he liked to draw and sketch nature, flowers, portraits, night skies, obviously. He had a younger brother named Theo, who was born in 1857, and he died a year after Vincent did. So he wrote letters to his brother, and these letters were saved by Theo, and historians use them today just to learn about his state of mind and all his possible mental health problems. So Van Gogh suffered from hallucinations, depression, anger. He had auditory and visual hallucinations, which we know about because he wrote them in letters to his brother. According to Blummer, absinthe was the alcoholic beverage of choice for French artists, and since Van Gogh lived in Paris for a little bit, it makes sense that that was his drink of choice. So he drank absinthe to try and cope with his insomnia. He also drank turpentine and ate his paints. So according to Arnold, Van Gogh suffered from bipolar disorder and most likely lead poisoning from consumption of his paints. So most people know that Vincent van Gogh cut off his own ear. So this is a self-portrait he did after he cut off his ear. So he was living with another French artist at the time, and they got into a fight because the artist's name was Paul Guggen, and he wanted to move out because he said Vincent was very hard to live with. And Vincent took a razor and cut off his ear, supposedly from anger over the argument, and he gave it to his favorite prostitute. So he clearly had some mental breaks throughout his life. He was hospitalized shortly after and voluntarily became a patient at St. Paul de Massouls, where he spent most of his time painting. So this is one of his most famous paintings. It's The Starry Night, and currently hangs at the Museum of Modern Art in New York City. It was painted in 1889. So as you can see, it's a night scene with the moon and the stars kind of shining throughout the whole painting. So there's a little town in the bottom corner, and the largest building is actually a church steeple, and the steeple represents ones from where Vincent grew up in Holland, according to the Museum of Modern Art. So the main focus of this painting is this big green bush on the side. So it's actually a cypress bush. It connects the earth and the sky in this painting. The cypress is a symbol as a bridge between life and death, with the sky in this painting represents heaven, and then the town represents like life on earth. Cypress trees also live year-round, so they're kind of viewed as a symbol for immortality also. Vincent painted this one as very energetic and flame-like as it moves upwards. So the background of the painting is lots of shades of blue. It kind of represents just movement from left to right. The stars kind of twinkle in the way that he's painted them. So it's obvious that he studied the night sky a lot from his view. He actually painted this from the window of where he was staying. So Vincent was really into astronomy, so he painted a couple other night skies. So this one was painted a year before the Starry Night. So this is Starry Night over the Rhone. So it has the same kind of like blues and yellows from the night sky, and then there's like a little couple in the corner. There's the boat in the main center, but the focus of this painting is the night sky. So the Big Dipper is visible in the very middle of the sky, and according to Whitney, Van Gogh misplaced a star intentionally. I think he did that just to make it more appealing to himself, as a painter. He also added in some extra stars, which again I just think he just thought it looked better with more stars. He spent a lot of time looking at the sky because he also painted Cafe Terrace at night, which the sky isn't as big as a focus in this one, but you can tell he's still interested in astronomy by the blues and the stars. This one was also painted in 1888, And so you can see like the tables closest to us are empty and the ones farther back are occupied with guests. And then the darkness of the buildings kind of like reiterate the like brightness of the cafe, how it's lit. But that's almost like the same shade of yellow for the stars that he uses, kind of just representing how bright they were. So, in conclusion, Van Gogh had a very hard life. He was mentally ill and suffered from a lot of mental breaks, but he was a relatively unknown artist from his, like while he was alive, but now he's one of the most famous in the world. So, there's some references.